Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the LA Sevens. This one, Portugal taking on the Kenyans. Now, Kenya very narrowly defeated by the Samoans in their opening contest. They never really found their next gear, but I feel like this game now is the perfect opportunity to find it in the starting lineup. It is Kevin Waikesa, Samuel Azati, Amaitsa, Abukusi, Mboya, George Oro, and Patrick Okongo, who's currently sitting third in terms of the overall standings for Super Rugby, or sorry, not Super Rugby, but for Sevens tries on the circuit. In terms of this Portuguese lineup, this will actually be the first game that we have covered for the Portuguese, at least that I can remember. I can't remember if they were in the relegation promotion zone last year, but they have got the first touch of the ball. On off to the left-hand side. So Kenya's defence up against Samoa as a whole was relatively decent. Some good physicality being shown. Is the Rugby Itch doing the Super Rugby game? He is not, no. He's in the Northern Hemisphere, so that game will be kicking off at about 4 a.m. for him. But now, tackled on the halfway line for Silva, that being Vasco Silva. Now looking for the offload, a little bit risky. Kenya managing to clean that ball up. It's very scrappy. I think about 3 knock-ons happened in a row there. Nicely done from Kunto on the ground. Now inside of their own 22 for Portugal. It's just about trying to get a little bit of early possession, and they have won themselves the penalty here. This will allow them to go up the field just that little bit more. In the game up against the USA, they weren't a mile off getting themselves a victory, actually being quite competitive throughout that contest. 26 points to 15, the 11-point victory for the Portuguese in the end. I will mention at the moment in a women's game, Fiji have just managed to beat France, 26 points to 22, and Australia just playing the USA now on the other field. Hamish, who's doing the game, is Sky Sports. Sky Sports is doing that game, yes. And let's go to Portuguese back in the games. Says a Blues, Nate. It is now going to be the throw-in for Valentin. On across to the left-hand side. Once again, we can hear the Kenyan crowd get in behind their side. Oh, bit of a rough pass. Falls back inside of their own 22 here for Portugal. Low tackle attempted by Amaitsa. Has eventually managed to drag down Vasco Silva. Now off to the left-hand side again. Can you do Landers versus Pacifica game? A loose ball. Picked up by Marias. Now they are back inside of their 22 again here, Portugal. Every time they make a few metres, they seem to have one rough pass that makes them lose all of them. Run forward by Fati. Now back across to the left-hand side again here for Portugal. Marias having a run sideways, bit of a rough pass, and once again back inside of their 22. This is eventually going to lead, I would think, to a try being scored by the Kenyans if Portugal aren't careful. I'll watch it on Vitbox. Says had a catchy title. Trying to step through again. No, not able to get through the gap. Kunto goes back across. Still inside of that 22. Almost through that time. Just persisting here. And Kenya's defence needs a lot of credit here. Come on, Portugal, says Flesh. Yeah, they've been attacking for 3 minutes. And they haven't really made any metres. Fati. Tackled again there. Ferrero, I should say. Playing the half roll, and that will be the penalty to Portugal. That's what they needed. Now, I think in this scenario, they kind of just have to kick this one downfield. I don't think you bother with trying to tap it, get it into touch, have the line out, and just get down the Kenyan end of the field. Kicked into touch by Valentin. Come on, Portugal, you're my country. Don't let me down from being born there. So he's had a catchy title. They are just showing there Vasco Silva, one of the younger players in this Portuguese lineup, one to keep an eye on for the future. I'd be very curious to know how many Kenyan supporters are in the stands, because there are plenty for this League of the Sevens by the looks of it. Nice offload coming now. Much better attack for the Portuguese. Nice inside ball from Valentin, and this will be the first try of the match for Portugal. They break through, and the youngster Moraes does score. Duarte Moraes, only I think 23 years old, they mentioned before. And it is his first try of the Sevens circuit. And let's go Kenya, says Scooper. About Rugby, I'm only 19. Says had a catchy title, and Kenya from Scooper there too. And hello, says Highlanders will win Super Rugby 2025. Welcome in, mate. First try of the match coming for the Portuguese, and it is a nice, easy conversion. Straight out in front of the post as well. Shouldn't have too many troubles with it whatsoever. It is converted. Where do I sign up? The closest I can do is Rugby 25, Moana versus Landers. Says Blues Nate. USA currently on the overall standings in this group. They are in first on 6 points. Samoa are in second on 4. Portugal on 3. Kenya on the 2. And Australia currently 10-0 up over the USA. If we lose today, it's season over most likely. Says Highlanders will win. Yeah, it's a must-win up against Moana. Whoever wins keeps their season alive. Like you said, that will be a penalty now going the way of Kenya. So they aren't in any rush to take this one quickly. They will kick this one now downfield looking for the touchline. It is going to bounce out, so nicely played by Kenya. And because it bounced into touch, it would still be a Kenya line-out. Yes, it would. I think the touch judge actually had his flag the wrong way for a second. How did New Zealand do today? They won their first game up against the Fijians, but then lost to their bogey team Spain again, 7 points to 5. So currently sitting with a little bit of uncertainty about whether or not they will make their way further in the comp. Kevin Waikesa, a nice tackle made. The good news is we only have to wait a couple of hours to find out, as all of these sides play 3 games today, except for the teams who are a part of the non-championship matches. It's going to be a penalty now going against Silva for being on the wrong side of the breakdown. Portugal currently find themselves sitting down by 7 points. Looks like they have opted for the scrum choice in the scenario. Now, I will mention this is our 4th game in a row of the Sevens. The next one is South Africa versus Great Britain, and that will be back over on field number 1. These matches taking place on field 2. And then also alongside that, we've got the game straight after between Argentina and France, and then 3 more matches later on for New Zealand versus Australia, Fiji taking on Spain, and South Africa versus Argentina. Passing out to the left-hand side. Couple quick steps coming in from Amaitsa. We'll fire it back across to the right. Kenya haven't had a lot of time on attack throughout this match. Portugal having a majority of the possession. Bit of a counter-ruck there, and they managed to get it cleanly. Nice work in the breakdown from Silva. Portugal will kick this one into touch, and they will accept a 7-0 lead going into the second half over this Kenyan side, making quite the statement there after the first half. But the big question is, can Kenya fire back? I mentioned about it in their last game up against Samoa. They never really got out of that first and second gear. If they want to find themselves a victory in this contest, they will have to definitely ramp it up just a little bit more. Now, just talking about Lucas Lecamp. He's got an interesting accent. I don't think I've actually heard Lucas Lecamp ever talk. I think it's always either on mute or it's during a time where we are doing a different game. Portugal says had a catchy title and we're coming back strong. Says Scooper. Yeah, just one early try for Kenya could be the difference. If they can starve Portugal off the possession throughout the second half, they should win this game, honestly, relatively easily. And that is nothing against Portugal. It's just when Kenya are firing, they're very hard to stop. If they don't get the win, you can always change it to 2026. Says Blues Nate. That is true. Thinking towards the future, and Australia 12, USA 12. So a bit of a comeback coming from the USA women's side, maybe in front of the home crowd. That is boosting them up to the next level. The Kenyan fans, even though Kenya are down by 7, they are still cheering, they are still dancing, they are still chanting for their side. And unfortunately, Division 1's going to miss out on this next year because they decided to sack Kenya from the circuit a second time in a row. They won't have Samoa, they won't have USA. Hamish, I'm having scones for brekkie. Says had a catchy title, doesn't sound too bad at all. I'm not actually too sure what my breakfast will be, but I think it's going to be lunch instead. And Kenya flags from Scooper. And there too. Yeah, the crowd's still jumping around, ready for the second half. Kenya kicking this one off from left to right. They need to find some success here. It's going to be well claimed, and they have managed to get their own kickoff. So that is a great start. Going back across to the right-hand side. Some nice quick passing. Now looking for the step. It's Patrick Okongo. Wakesa. Back across to this left-hand side. Now skip pass on the outside for Kenya. Amaitsa going to show off his quick stepping, but a good tackle made once again by Vasco Silva. Means Australia, USA 12. And now breaking through, Kevin Wakesa, the early try that was needed for the Kenyans, has now been scored. It is 10:04 for me in New Zealand. Hamish, what about for you in New Zealand? It is also 10:04, same time zone. And also, it's also 10:04 in Fiji. Fun fact, but Kevin Wakesa breaking through the defence of Portugal. That was the turnaround moment that Kenya needed in this contest, and Kevin Wakesa just getting away from the ankle tap attempt. And the kick also did go over, so making the score 7-all. There must be at least 1,000 people, if not more, supporting Kenya in the stand here. And just that one individual section. But now nicely taken by Portugal. They will be just outside of their 22. Valentin wearing that number 10 jersey today. Or 16 jersey, in fact. Ferrero. Now going across to Fati. Can move this one across the field. So now, I picked up there is Kunto. And that's going to be a hard one to be able to get rid of. I've been told to use it once. They've got 5 seconds to get it out of there. And that's not going nowhere when 4 Kenyans are giving you a bear hug. And Triton Kenya and Portugal has some diaspora in Australia, South Africa and the UK to pull on if they want to go down that route. And we've got there Shans Nickel Clockstead. Says Ada. But yeah, the scrum will be now for Kenya. Now, big chance. 22 metres out from the try line. If Kenya score now, you wonder whether or not Portugal would have it in them to come back into the game. Yes, we're still relatively early in the half, but it's that momentum shift. When Kenya start to feel it, and they start to get those offloads going. He's a rugby league player, Hamish. He is indeed. Now, nicely taken by Kenya. We'll pass it across to the left-hand side again with George Oro. Going on the outside of Patrick Okongo tries to cut and he's landed on his face. Well, that's actually happened quite a bit today. Not just for Okongo, but for most of the players. Get their arms tied up. Nice sniping run from Azati. Now Kenya again moving up to the 22 tackle on Kevin Wakesa. They managed to score the last try. Salah the dummy pops it up now, and now Wakesa does cross the try line. And Kenya, they got themselves another one. Maddie Levi, doing what she does best, running him over. Says a Blues. And they're going for Portugal there from Lilia B. Kevin Wakesa, his second try in this matchup. So he has single-handedly turned around the second half in terms of the tally. Just trying their best to be able to defend there, Portugal, but with the offloading game of Kenya, it does make it very challenging indeed. Hamish, I will crying yesterday. I am confused at what you mean. Now, it's going to be 14 points to 7. Kenya all the way. And also 19 points to 12 in favour of the Australians. Was. Let's go, Kenya. Let's go. Says Scooper. Again, now that they've still got the crowd behind them, the atmosphere is building. The Kenyans are getting really into this contest here and should have a decent chance of being able to win it. I don't hate on Kenya. says Brian in there. Who was hating on Kenya? I don't think anyone was hating on Kenya, were they? But 3 minutes remaining. It's going to be kicked off by the Kenyans. It's going to be slapped back for Portugal, who have now got the possession inside of the 22. Oh, and that ball's popped out. Kenya managed to take the ball back. Azati has got it 22 metres out from the line. We got this. Asujaz says Crispin, and that is another try. Azati, in fact, this time it is Amaitsa who scores it. And he is fired up now. So is the Kenyan crowd. And 19 points to 7. And they're continuing to build into this game, Kenya. And I just don't see Portugal being able to fire back here with the start to the half that we have seen from this Kenyan side. Aussies destroying USA, sees Brian. And Maddie Levi, she seems to just be scoring tries for fun at the moment. Let's go Kenya, says Goyo. And we have the Australia 24 to the USA 12. Says Kevin, but now they score 21 points to 7. Now the benefit for Kenya is all of the tries that they've been scoring, they've been getting them right between the posts, which lead to very easy kicks. 2 minutes now left, the second half. Completely different to the first. We saw 7-0 at halftime for Portugal, now 21-7 down. Heading into the last 2 minutes of Vamos Portugal, says Luis. Now nicely claimed by Kenya again. Kevin Waikesa jumping up and getting that possession. He's going to be held up well by Portugal, but eventually wriggles his way to the turf. It's 100 seconds on the clock. Currently, the way that the table sits, Kenya would still be in third, even with this result due to the head-to-head game up against the Samoans. Big run forward now for Kenya. Running down the wing, Patrick Okongo. I mean, the man has already got a heavily strapped knee. He's got to be careful diving in celebration the way that he did. And Kenya for lights here, says Blues Nate. That is a big try for the Kenyans yet again. And they are just continuing to score for fun throughout the second 7 minutes. And yeah, just trying to win that foot race in the end. Let's do it easily. This format of HSBC makes every leg competitive, says Brian. I assume you're talking about the new format that is coming out next year. Yeah, this one, it's a little bit of a shame for certain teams. The likes of Kenya, a side that worked so hard to get back onto the main circuit just to then be kicked out of it the year after due to them going into Division 2 now more than likely, rather than getting to be on that number 1 circuit once again. But tell you what, they will miss the Kenyan fans for the Division 1, that is for sure. It's going to be kicked off. 40 seconds. Oh, what a take that is. Kenya just claiming every single kickoff, and it seems like Portugal don't have an answer for it. Big sell of the dummy. Another step there. Short ball, but this time it's knocked on by the Kenyans. Hamish Nets Crusaders episode when? Honestly, I'm not too sure. I was supposed to release it on Thursday, but never got around to editing it because I was working and busy. So probably next week, I would say. We also haven't been able to film another episode as of yet, so I don't really want to run out before I put out another episode. We are proud of you boys, says Scooper, and let's go Kenya, let's go, says Scooper there too. But 3 seconds remaining on the clock. Portugal are down by 19, so no matter what, they cannot receive a bonus point from this match. They can increase their points differential a little bit. Will Kenya qualify? They have a decent chance of going into Division 2 for next season. But yeah, it's a massive shame that they've taken them off the main circuit again after, like I said, all the hard work that they went through to try and get back onto said circuit. Who the Portugal and USA game. So USA won that match by, I think it was 11 points or something. That's a nice attack and run from Portugal, who are yet to give up in this match. They still want that one more try and going to a Sevens tournament at the end of June. The Kenyan Exiles always play well. The fans are incredible, says Bill. And time we shift our focus to 15s. It was good, right, Kenya? And there as well. Now, looks like Portugal's still trying to find some form of last-minute try, breaking through the middle. And I believe it's Coots who does score it off the bench. And the Kenyans will be able to the Portuguese will be able to get that last-minute try. Very well done for those final moments. But the Kenyans able to win this game. Now what we will be doing is we will be transferring straight back over to our next live stream, which is South Africa taking on none other than Great Britain. So we'll see you all for the next one.